Happy July 4th. Happy Independence Day. Tuesday, July the 4th. It's about 10 minutes to 9 in the morning in Colorado. And I just heard somebody setting off fireworks just now. You know, the little kind we used to have as kids. And I'm like, really? Okay, why not? Well, part of the reason why not is because they're illegal here in town. And secondly, because we've been in extreme drought conditions. And this is an area for high fire danger. And although we're not close to the mountains, we're certainly close to the plains with the wild, dry grass. So when I heard that, I was like, oh, please don't do that. You know, where they're in controlled environments and the city setting them off and the firemen are standing by, I'm all for it. But not before 9 a.m. and certainly not in my backyard. So, happy 4th. Be safe where you're going. Enjoy the fireworks, especially if they are done by your local community. And if you're going to be one of those that's going to set them off, then please, please, please be careful. Be aware. When I growing up as a kid, went to a dear friend's house who lit fireworks, had a wheelbarrow full of sand, hose standing by, you know, all of those precautionary things. But then keep in mind, you know, where it goes and where it goes into the sky. When it comes back down, it's not always out. So please give that some consideration. Okay, I'll get off my soapbox. I know I've been doing that a lot lately. I'll cut it out. Maybe. So I did my Facebook page and drew the card for the day. And sometimes it's difficult as a reader when you get news you don't want to deliver. You know, we all try to keep our positive thoughts and we all try to stay upbeat, but let's face it, life's not easy, and no one ever said it was going to be. So the card this morning that came up on Facebook was the Five of Air. I had to stop and think which one it was. And it talks about unwise choices. And when people see those cards, sometimes they get in a real funk, you know? And I'm like, no, because the card isn't saying that you've made an unwise choice. It's talking about unwise choices to learn from, that it's a heads up not to repeat the same mistakes, to learn everyone's motives, to take a look clearly and, you know, don't go off on a tangent of making the same types of unwise choices. Or maybe you had a thought in your head and you've been humming and hawing about it, and that's God's message to say you might not want to do that. So it's a bit of a heads up card is how I look at it. So as readers, if you have not the best news to deliver, use a little discernment. Doesn't mean it's going to happen. We all have free will. Just means these are heads up. These are divination tools and possibilities of things to come. So I'm going to use the same deck that I used on Facebook, and that's this one. It is the Angel Tarot deck by Doreen Virtue and Radleigh Valentine, of course published by Hay House. And we're going to get on with our day. I have a lot of fun things I want to do, and none of them have to do with the celebration of the 4th, but some fun things I want to do here around the house and in my kitchen. Yeah, so we'll just kind of get going on that. So let's see what God, His Son, Holy Spirit, and the angels have as messages for us here. Whoops, there's the first one. Yep. Okay, that's one down. Let's see if there's any others. Intriguing. Okay. As they were falling, I was like hearing the message. I'm very curious how that's going to come through. That reminds me, I want to share that with you. What an amazing thing happened last night. As you know, I've been telling you that I'm, you know, pretty much deaf in this ear. And I have been since, well, for as long as I can remember. But what I'm finding, God works in amazing ways. I have about 10% hearing in that ear. So I can hear muffled sounds, but like if I fall asleep on this ear, which is my good, I suppose, good ear, um, I can't hear anything. It's all muffled. And gosh, that's since I was a little itty bitty. I used to get a lot of ear infections in that ear and just never really heard well. Well, last night I heard perfectly, and it blew my mind. And I was lying down, had the TV on. I'm like, I just want to get comfortable and lie down on this side. And lo and behold, I could hear the television. And it was clear, and it wasn't loud. And I'm like, oh dear Lord, I hear out of that ear. And then I realized, and I stopped and thought about it, that loud noises lately are bothering me a lot. I haven't heard stop yet. And even the volume on my computer, and the volume outside, the volume of crowds, high-pitched noises. And I realized that it's really been like an irritant, loud volume. And I went, things are changing. Nicely. That is most definitely not a complaint. And, 6 cards? Really? Okay. So I heard stop now. It looks like it's going to be a 6-card read. I'll check it in a second. And I realized that for my class, I was sharing with people how to clear your ear chakras to open up your clairaudience. And I realized that since I've been doing this full-time instead of part-time, my senses are getting stronger and stronger and stronger, which kind of surprised me just a little bit. I didn't expect some of the physical outcomes that are coming from doing this sensitive type of work full-time. One thing I never expected was to get hearing in this ear to the point that I hear a bird outside. And it's not just hearing it on this ear, I'm hearing it in both. And it's the most amazing thing. It's like a revelation of sound. And it really is an amazing thing. So I think in the clearing of the ear chakras and making ourselves more in tune and aligned with our life purpose and awakening our sensitivities, it awakens all of it. And that, my darlings, is an amazing revelation. So yeah, it's been rather intriguing to say the least, and it's been the same for, well, more than 12 hours now. So wow. Let's begin the reading and let's get to it. It's going to be an emotional kind of day, but a really nice start of a day. So for those of you that are home, for those of you that are celebrating family and your independence and the blessings of having a day off, the Ace of Water talks about falling in love or the resurgence of a relationship, spending that special, quiet, beautiful, spiritual, intuitive time with each other where you feel connected and you feel that bond of love that's growing and getting stronger. And it's just this like newness, and it's like rearranging home and furniture and like maybe even finding a new place. Maybe that's your next step of finding a new place to live or a new roof over your head, or making the one that you have like new, maybe getting that redecorating project finished, or maybe just as much as moving a piece of furniture so that your feng shui flow is on the same flow as your love and spiritual growth. Well, I'm not terribly surprised to see this card come up because it came up yesterday, but from a different suit, but it also came up with the same message. So in the Power Tarot deck, this would be Archangel Ariel, And in the Angel Tarot deck, it is still Archangel Ariel. And you notice this time she's got tigers with her for the symbol of strength. But this time it's the strength of the blue suit because this is a major arcana. So know that you have great inner strength that can be increased even further by putting all of your trust and all of your faith in God, His Son, Holy Spirit, and the angels, and their guidance, that you are protected, that you are safe, and to open up your ears. Maybe that's why this is happening. Opening up your ears to hear their messages and to take action upon them. But you also need to release the anger, the frustration, that harsh judgment. You know what I mean? That harsh judgment. Sometimes you spew out poison from your mouth and speak in terms of harsh judgment when you don't really have all of the facts. And those words, once spoken, truly are poison to the heart of the person receiving them. And that goes way down deep into the soul. So before you spew your poison, step back. Don't be so harsh and don't be judgmental. It's a very important card because it's time for forgiveness and it's time for compassion. And that's that stepping back and realizing before you speak, do you want to speak love or do you want to speak poison? Let's talk about earthly matters now. Wow. So two of earths, so much going on at once and the need to make a decision. Not making a decision is making a decision. And so consider taking a more playful approach to life. Maybe come back from that harsh judgment we were just talking about. Maybe it's time to release the inner child in you today. And maybe it's time to go to the lake or go to the river or go play with the kids in the backyard, doing something very special. Because when you do, it brings you to unity. You know, traditional viewpoints or methods, sometimes the old-fashioned ways really have a lot of credence to them. You know, but sometimes they don't. But I want you to take a look at traditional viewpoints. Maybe that's your parents' way of viewing things because that's the way they knew and that's the way that they were raised. You know, a lot of New Age metaphysical things are very foreign to our parents in that way. And a lot of them grew up with it in the Enlightenment of the 60s and the 70s and the 80s. So maybe they're looking at it from a different way, but kind of step back. And again, don't use harsh judgment because judgment doesn't serve anything. Use discernment. You go with love, go with compassion. This is, you know, a time for spiritual growth. It's been coming and it's getting stronger and stronger and stronger. And you need to seek out like-minded friends. You need to seek out mentors who are like-minded. You need to seek out those that can also offer you peace and your way to find peace. It brings a unity of those with gifts of love and peace and compassion. So that too is a very strong major arcana card that is like moving you into that right direction. It's been an interesting reading, especially when I see the next card, because as I look at this, I don't think this card in particular has ever come up here on YouTube. Wow. And it's the Eight of Air. You know, again, with our intellect, we think and feel like we're being trapped, but we're not. It's an illusion. You're not trapped by anything. You need to build your self-confidence. You need to put your trust, excuse me, didn't mean to cough at you. You need to put your trust in God, His Son, Holy Spirit, and the angels, and know that they've got your back and that it's okay to take action. It's okay to move forward with your plans. It's okay to be scared, but leave that to God and let go. And you don't have to worry about these thoughts that are rolling in your head, and go from your heart and your gut and your soul. Wow, what an interesting read for an Independence Day. Last card. When you let go of all of that anger, when you let go of all of that fear, when you let go of all of those concerns, and you know you're on the right path and you're listening to your spiritual and divine guidance, it leads to the Ten of Earth. The environment, your plants, your children, your pets, the roof over your head, your career, your job, your life purpose, your breathing, your health, everything. This is what the Earth suit is about. And this is talking about a very happy family life. If you let go of the fear, you know, it also talks about financial security. If you let go of the fear and finding magic, truly magic, in the little things of life. There was a card that came up the other day, and we talked about the promise of the rainbow. And we talked about how the rainbow, a prism rainbow, has all the colors of your chakra. You ever blow in a soap bubble and watch it float in the sunlight and notice the colors? When you do that, maybe that's the time to go out and blow bubbles with your kids or your spouses or something. Or go to a park and, kind of splash in a pool. Just, being safe and be smart about it. But the reason I bring up about the prism is that's the little things in life that are reminders. I have a beautiful little crystal candle holder here. When the sunlight filters in through this window, it hits it just right at a certain time in the morning. And I have these dancing prisms on my walls. And every time I see them, I thank God for his promise of the rainbow and the promise of the chakras being aligned and the promise of letting us be in oneness with him. So I'm going to end this reading here for you. And if you would like a personal reading, my time is filling up very, very fast between the classes and readings and working on the network. But I do still have I will always make time for you. So please visit myhouseofangelcardreadings.com. Don't have it so I can instantaneously do it when you book. It's like we're going to have to kind of be booking out a few days in advance with some rare exceptions. So that's okay. That's not a bad thing. Classes are also filling up very fast. If you want to learn how to do this, come join me. You can take one class or you can take all four. You can take the advanced classes. You can do whatever. Those are also on the site, $25 per hour per class. Each class is 1 hour. It will be a complete lesson within 60 minutes. So we're going to go through things very, very quickly. It's going to be done via Skype or Facebook video call. Got to have a webcam, got to have an angel deck, some sort of angel deck, because that's what I use. And it's at your schedule to the best way that I can fit it in. I do have a couple more spaces still open. I've had a lot of people tell me that they're going to be taking the class. We're getting confirmation each day of those ones coming in. So if you want to learn how to do this, now's the time to do it. We will be starting this series over again, so we're going to keep on doing it. So if you can't get in on the weeks that are starting July 15th, we can get you started on the weeks of July 22nd and July 29th and into August. So we are here for you. Come join us on Facebook. We did pass 1,900 followers today, and I do want to thank you for sharing my posts there, for commenting, for being a very special part of my life each day. And I want to wish you a very safe and a beautiful and a peaceful 4th of July holiday. So blessed be and namaste.